Yes, hello, and this is Mystic Brew, and I am Radagast. So, um, this is this is going to be odd. I mean, here I am, a YouTuber with less than 1,000 subscribers. Average view on a video over the course of a week is about 50, and I'd like to talk to Alex Jones. So, this could be a complete exercise in vanity, but I'll try it anyway. Who knows? So I'm like, hey, Alex, somebody says something to you. So, and again, has to do with the president of the United States. I'm a United States citizen. Didn't vote. I haven't voted in years. Don't like politics. And actually, the reason I kind of got my interest peaked or perked up was because for the first time I can remember, a non-politician was running to be the CEO of the corporate USA. And also, I mean, I'm one of the people who sees the the kind of the plan that is globalism. I'll briefly mention there's a book out there. I think it should just be called the Protocols. They call it the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, and I don't like that name because it kind of Judaizes it, and then that opens the book for critique of anti-Semitism. I don't see it as anything uniquely Jewish. I see it as the basically the plan book of the globalists, the ones who've been doing things for a couple hundred years. I think actually the real mischief has really been done for around since the time of the Gutenberg printing press, the Reformation, the resetting of the calendar by Gregory. I'll probably be doing a video on the New Earth series, very important work. But not until I do my programming and narrative one, and that's probably gonna be an hour-long video. It's still in progress. Anyway, so the whole politics and the whole globalist thing again. If you read the protocols, you're going to have the plan book, and if you read, this book supposedly was written, over 100 years ago, and if you if you read it, you see that a lot of things that were written to take place in the future. Reading the book now is like reading what's going on right now, and I consider it the plan book. And again, just it's about the criminals on a planet. This isn't about religion at all, unless we're talking about Luciferianism or something. The whole Elders of Zion, I think taints it because it Judaizes it and it opens it up for criticism. I just think it just needs to be seen as the plan book of the would-be rulers of the universe, and certainly the current controllers of the planet Earth. Boy, is that metric changing, and that's why the fight is on, and that's why we're going to get down to President Trump of the United States, and I just want to be on record that I don't know a serious magical practitioner that was not from all over the world that when they looked at the elections did not favor Donald Trump. I know there was that group of media witches that publicly did a spell. I mean, again, that's theater. That's like, just it was on the fake news because it's fake magic. I mean, oh, what a joke. And not to, again, when certain people who were doing whatever they did privately and not even talking about it, because when you're trying to affect the world for good, your ego is not involved. So an accomplishment is just something to make you personally smile, that if you felt you were one of the ones who had a hand in it. And I do, when I say one of the ones, I mean probably one of the millions, if not at least thousands. So anyway, the reason I'm directing this to Alex Jones specifically, because he's probably the biggest voice of the alternate media. I mean, on a daily basis, he'll get the most views, and he's worked hard at it. A lot of people don't understand. I mean, Alex is an entrepreneur, and I mean that in every strict sense of the word. I mean, all the products that he does to support it, he really tries to make those some of the best products. If he overhypes it, that's besides the point. I mean, they're certainly better than most of the stuff out there. Because, supplements, herbs, and everything, that's a big market. So when you have a market where there's just demand, and then of course people are always looking for the best price, and that's where the hucksters come in. They can give you a good price because they're giving you crap to begin with. Quality control, it could be hit or miss. I mean, like, something like ginkgo. I was getting one that was relatively inexpensive. Then I bought Now. Now's a NOW, very popular brand of stuff. I probably better get to talking about Alex Jones, but they put out some decent, acceptable essential oils. I would never refer anybody to that, but I took some of their ginkgo biloba. Usually I have to take 2. I had to take 3 of that. Anyway, okay. So Alex Jones is an entrepreneur, and he does satire. He's actually a brilliant guy. He reads white papers. He's a lot more. He's actually much more of an intellect than people give him credit for, and I think it's because, as that kind of, the rough and tumble guy, he knows he's smart. I know he's smart. A lot of people know he's smart. But if you know the bell curve from where average intelligence is and stuff like that, he doesn't dumb down to his audience, but he certainly doesn't talk over them. And the last thing he'd want to do is, I think, come across as an intellectual. People who know smarts. People who don't know. And then there are other people who do know, but will use it because he is, doing this kind of in-between thing. They can make fun of him. Complex people are easy to make fun of because most people are relatively simple. So all you do is make up simple-minded critiques of a complex person, and you can distort them completely. All right. Okay, what is this? Gotta get my glasses. One of these days, maybe I'll do it on a computer. Okay. Oh, Alex Jones. Yeah. Okay, Alex. I understand what you're doing. And I just want to offer some critiques. I think you're great for what you do. I think you do it from the heart. I think you do it for the right reasons. And your style is your style. And that is that's a taste. It's like, it's like flavors of ice cream in many ways. Good ice cream is, you could have the best ice cream, all organic ingredients and everything, and you still might have an ice cream. I don't like vanilla, I want chocolate. So again, it's kind of like a flavor. Okay, so what do I have? Alex Jones, butt smooching. Not until looks, I'm really sorry about that. Okay. The Alex Jones butt smooching is not what it looks like, and neither is Donald Trump. I guess the thing I would like to not only say to Alex Jones, but almost everybody right now, Donald Trump is in siege at the White House. And I don't think there's quite a siege mentality yet, but I do believe there's a siege strategy. And that is to work with the vapidity, inanity, and duplicity of the mainstream media and the people who still think the mainstream media has anything good to offer them for trying to figure out the world. The mainstream media is there to tell you how they think you should see the world. And if you disagree with them, the chances are you're reading fake news, is the insinuation. All right. So anyway, there was a real siege going on. I mean, there was you couldn't get anything done because you had to address the daily attacks. So I already covered the Syrian thing. And okay, so here's what I'm going to say. Do not let the optics lead anybody. Especially because of TV. But just the way we've developed as a civilization. Visuals are hugely important. I mean, what fed the Syria missile attack? Ivanka saw pictures of babies and it disturbed her and she went to her father. Okay? So here we go. Here's imagery again. Here's the power of imagery. According to the narrative, according to the official story, Ivanka saw pictures, images, and she responded. So she responded to the optics. And what I am counseling is, you can't miss the optics because we're visual by nature. We're going to see what we see, but is what we see what's happening? Or is what we're watching what is more than a distraction and a misleading? And I really believe it's the latter. Okay, okay, we know all about, like the whole, and then of course, the whole collusion with the Russians. That narrative had to be busted. And the behaviors over the past month or so have certainly really hurt that narrative. I'm quite sure they're waiting for just one little slip up. They'd probably like to go there again. But right now, it's really hard. And then the quoted words, between Russia and the United States are kind of, measured diplomatic with a touch of bellicosity, just enough to let you know, oh, these guys are not, not conducting a bromance. And, and Tillerson's also been sounding a little bellicose and whatever. I'm going to share a picture. And hopefully there's no strike on this. I mean, I don't, these days it seems like everybody else uses pictures, and I put a picture in my videos, and, oh, a little copyright thing here. I'm going to show you a picture of Rex Tillerson and Putin. I guess they've just had a meeting, and this is after. And here's the photo op. You want some, these are optics I think you can trust. Okay, now the whole basic optics is, Donald Trump wanted to do something positive with the Russians, and then this whole Russian collaboration came out, and so then he kind of like, the language changed. It's like, oh my God, Trump has betrayed us. And this is the stuff I'm hearing, not so much from Alex Jones. Alex Jones is much more nuanced and intelligent than that, Alex, you are. But a lot of the base, okay, the base, your basic American, that average intelligence on the bell curve, the majority of the people. And they're starting to think, oh, Trump has betrayed us, okay? And they're basing this opinion on the optics. So anyway, in the middle of all this newfound bellicosity between Russia and the United States, I just wanted to show you this post-meeting picture with Rex Tillerson and Vladimir Putin. I want you to look at the eyes of them, the body language that's exchanged on their faces. Okay, remember, we're not friends with the Russians right now. You ready for it? There we go. Rex Tillerson and Vladimir Putin just giving each other just those icy stares. Oh yeah, I'm going to kill you. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, now maybe you see something different in these faces. I know what I see. And I kind of see Vladimir almost says, yeah, they're buying the bullshit, Rex. They're buying it good. That's why I think we should continue this course. It's taking a lot of heat off of Trump. Maybe now we can get something done. We can get something done together. We can clear ISIS out of Syria. And yeah, we might do some creepy things with the Kurds, but, that's been coming around for a long time, so don't sweat it too much. And then we know you're going to let Assad try to keep over the coast, and what the heck, you got the coast. That's not so bad. You give them a little piece of desert. Yeah, it'll upset Turkey. And that may be the point. It'll really upset Iran, because of the Kurds are in Iraq, Syria, Turkey, and Iran. So if they get a foothold in Syria, and they already have a very strong foothold in Iraq. Those people are considered terrorists by the Turkish government, and then I'm pretty sure that the one terrorist organization in Iran is probably Kurdish. I don't know. That's why I use the word probably. So Alex, okay, let us really try and guide people about a lot of the optics, a lot of what we're hearing. Even what Trump is quoted as saying, we have to think that this is all the practice of the art of war. And since the media is images and words, then the art of deception will be through the kinds of images that get formed by words. Okay, so we really have to be mindful of optics largely being a smokescreen or a fog of war effect, so that real things can be done while everybody's dancing around, and I mean, if this is the ruse that I think it is, and there's another brilliant new YouTuber, what is his name? Destroying the Illusion. A young man, he uses a whiteboard. Oh my God! And the reason I guess I got sold to him, I had done a thing on about the missiles to Syria, and then he covered it, and he had basically the same thing. And he's also saying that this is theater, people. Alex, all right, I know you know it's theater, but I think, and I know we don't want to let it. It's kind of tricky. I have an easier time of it. I have 800. I have 865 subscribers. Okay, I get 50 views, in a week's time. I don't think me talking about it's going to go is going to unveil any plans. But you, Alex, I can imagine if you talk too much. I mean, because you listen to, and if the mainstream media goes, "Oh my God, we've been fooled," that would get ugly, and we certainly don't want them realizing that we know what he's doing, and that currently he's in siege and we're out here, and so he can't. There's no way he can really signal us right now. They follow his Twitter account. It's kind of hard for him to lob one to us. But, not going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner and then going to Pennsylvania and speaking to his people and telling him that he's having a better time there and reconnecting. He has to stay connected to his base, and his base has to stay connected to him. And Alex, this is where I think what often happens is when there's two things. One of the things is, we're kind of like acting as if this isn't really a trick. And then you go on to that list. Oh, but all I want is strong government. And he's done his first 90 days, or the first, not 90, 100, 70 days were really good. And the last 30, whatever. Again, I think there's a new strategy, and I think the strategy has worked brilliantly as far as trying to get some heat off of our president, especially from the media. And anything that takes that heat off, I'm fine with. And I don't, because I don't think that the optics are telling us the real story. Even North Korea, I guess there's enough uncertainty to make it believable. But I guess, come on, Alex, you go into that place. I know to go into your heart and get your information. Again, the optics looks like Korea is fairly dangerous. What does your heart tell you? A beautiful thing in Lord of the Rings, when Gandalf wasn't quite sure if Frodo was still alive, but Aragorn said yes. And Gandalf asked Aragorn, "Do you think he's still alive?" And Aragorn says to Gandalf, "What does your heart tell you?" Gandalf kind of gets quiet, and he comes and goes, "Yeah, he's good." So he went into his heart, and he got confirmation that Frodo was alive. So, Alex, I think when you go in your heart, you can tell real kind of what's going on, and it's really a shame it has to be done like this. But we need to help people, the base, the people who are unfortunately largely reactive, and they turn on a dime. And I think this sends a bad. This is where my real concern comes in, Alex. Is Trump? We can't really see him, but he can see us. And one of the ways he really sees us, Alex, is on your show. And maybe even occasionally, just like I'm doing right now, I'm talking to you, Alex, whether you see this or not. You do that. I just would recommend. Donald Trump talks to us. When he goes to people, he talks to them. He doesn't talk like he's talking to people in the third person. And I feel that a lot, and especially with your the connection that you have, and I think if you want it to stay a little more robust, there might be a slightly better way of doing this. And again, you're the expert, all right? So this is a critique from somebody who is not qualified to put on your shoes. And I just say that from a real honest humility. I am not kissing your ass in the least. I am acknowledging your work and your capabilities and what you've done. But I think we should focus on the optics. And there's two optics we want to focus on. How we react to the optics that we're being fed from, what we're hearing and seeing. But also, we're sending optics out to Donald Trump, the man who's behind a siege in Washington, D.C. And I'd like to give President Trump a little better representation of his base and not see them as these people who will turn on a dime. That kind of behavior, that really mercurial, that can't stand, not standing your ground kind of behavior, and just kind of shifting with the winds, that's the kind of thing that can sometimes create contempt from one person to another. When you're completely dedicated to them, it's really obvious that the man that we're thinking might help this country is under siege, surrounded by spies and lots. And then people, of course, who are going to smile and while they're plotting your demise. So, Alex, I would like, especially because you are such an important person, just be a little bit more mindful of the optics that we send back to him. And part of that is we trust you, even though what we're seeing looks like a shit show. I think we're seeing a little Sun Tzu here, a little art of war, and the deception and the fog and the benefits of the fog of war. I mean, in the Battle of Berkeley on April 15th, when was the turning thing? When they threw the smoke bomb, and instead of it going over the people that they wanted to apparently accost, the wind blew it on them, and that's when the other side, the free speech side, rushed them. It was at that moment of confusion and the fog of war that things turned. So the fog of war is a very powerful tool, and again, we're going to have to use almost a form of telepathy, or by this called going into your heart. You'll get the real reading. So we got to focus on what we on the optics we receive, but I think we really want to send better optics to the man under siege. Do I have to say talking in the third person, like he's not in the room? I just think sometimes with really important, look in the camera, talk to him. We know he watches your show or can hear about it. Plus, you still have, Roger Stone's still in there. What did I say? Trump does not want his ass kissed. He needs workers, people who will help him restore the Constitution. And to me, he's in there kind of clearing out, and he kind of, his words opened the door in his inaugural speech. I don't expect Donald Trump to give us back the Constitution. I expect us to take back the Constitution and knowing that we have a friendly in the White House. Okay, what? Oh, boy. One moment, please. Okay, so what do I have here? Oh, yeah. to paraphrase Trump, with regards to trusting him. Like, in other words, we don't like what we're seeing, but if we could trust he's going to do the right thing, what do we have to lose? And to me, not trusting into what we could lose is the reciprocal trust. And then he just says, you know what? They turned on me in a heartbeat. I was trying to do the right thing, and as soon as they got confused, they turned on me. Everybody around me is telling me that the average person, the public, the unwashed masses, the useless eater, pick your favorite Illuminati term because he's surrounded by them. And they're trying to tell him, what are you working so hard for these pieces of shit that you call citizens? Okay? Because if you don't know how the controllers of the world, the globalists think of us, please, they think of us as useful work animals. And we might as well stink. We're swine to them. And Donald Trump didn't go in with that opinion, but he's surrounded by that opinion. And what happens is all these people got his ear, and then as he looks out, the optics are, oh, Trump, you betrayed us, you turned on us, you suck, you're a globalist. Okay? What do you have to lose? We could lose the guy that we think could be on our side. Again, we have to reinforce each other. All right? The whole idea is this is not a savior. This is a representative of the people. If we're going to take the republic back, we didn't send a savior. We sent an ally. And or a general, but what's a general without their troops? So the troops really need to let the general know they're still troops. What do you have to lose? Oh yeah, the one thing. Okay, here I think that I saved the what I thought was the most important part for last. Ivanka Trump. Okay, Jared Kushner. Yeah, we have some serious questions about him. He's a man. He's not blood. I think Jared can take it, and I think hearing criticism about Jared, I think Donald Trump can take. The apple of his eye, Ivanka, going after Ivanka. There are you can we can speak of the optics, which include what we read or what we hear. Again and again, the optics is basically the picture that builds in our head. Not so that's really what it is. Like when we take in the data from our sensory input, which is largely our ears and our eyes. What that picture, that's the optic. I really mean. And so yeah, I am not happy with the things I see Ivanka going. But I don't know whether or not she's in on something. I'm not so sure. I mean, I think Ivanka is just Ivanka. But to me, some of this criticizing, she's a globalist, or blah, 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 this, I'm going to tell you, if one thing would really upset Donald Trump is, dissing his daughter. And I think that there's a way of speaking of what it looks like. And it's a little demoralizing. But again, there's a way of speaking about what doesn't look or sound right without calling her, oh yeah, her and Jared are the globalists, blah, 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 New World Order, blah, blah. It might be true, but going after her like that in public, I'm telling you, I think that sucks. I think the reason I think it sucks because we all know that he really likes his daughter. And man, there are so many people, you can say anything you want about them. Man, what did you say about my daughter? You said what? Trust me. Trust me. I mean, he's got a Leo rising. Leo is very protective of their young. And especially if there's a special one, which apparently she is. I'm telling you, Alex, lay off Ivanka. I'm not saying don't talk her. I'm not talk about her. I'm not saying don't talk about what's making you uncomfortable, what you see. But realize you're talking about the daughter of the president. Okay. I just think just find a smarter, kinder way. The man is under siege. He needs allies. Allies do not talk shit about your daughter. If they have something to say, they're going to find a way to do it. I'm very unhappy with the way that's been handled. And then last but not least, this is not so much about it. It's about this polarization in the United States. We have to, minimally, those of us who support a republic and, national hygiene, I like to call it, or a new nationalism, which again, we're already globally connected. We love each other. Humanity loves each other. And it's as long as there's a human language, usually we learn from each other. We are already global at our level, and the internet has allowed us to be our own unique form of global connection. The global connection that comes from above, to me, is just nothing like a big snare net. And then once they got you in that net, they just hang you off the tree and they can whack you all they want. But if we're going to really kind of make America work, we're going to have to come together with ideas. And I think one of the best things that the side who wants freedom and are aware who are against our freedom, and this other side doesn't. Okay, they like the state, and in certain, I'm going to call them leftists in one sense that since, at least with Antifa something, they seem to be almost socialist or communist. That qualifies as left. But the whole name calling, especially if Owen Schroyer is hosting, and cucks and this and that and blah, and it's, I think first of all we know how to use language. That's why we can explain ourselves and back up our opinions. I think we can be more skillful with our language, and we're just going to have to find a way to understand there's still a divide, but this whole cucks and whatever, the endless, thing. Oh, and I want to say one other thing, okay? And this is another, because this is another thing I hear about the college student types, okay? About living in mom's basement. This is where cognitive dissonance kicks in. We want a strong family, right? Aren't we all pro family? So what's wrong with living with your parents? And hopefully, even if you have a little bit of a job, you help them, but they certainly can help you. This is, to me, the fact that the millennials are staying at home is the beginning of families staying together, at least in the same town. I mean, really, what's the benefits, if you can live together, of maintaining two separate households? Who benefits from that? The people who are going to send you bills. Okay, you will use, I mean, again, if you live with your parents, chances are you're using one refrigerator for all your food. If you have two households, that's two refrigerators running. You understand? It is besides rebuilding the family, you're also helping to starve the beast of the money it just wants to siphon out of your pocket. That's what all these monthly bills are. These hoses into your bank account, wallet, pocket, call it whatever metaphor you want to use, and just this endless sucking sound. As you work, there's this constantly another thing being attached to you to suck it out of you. When people are living at home, again, all they have to, somebody could be living at home and flipping burgers, making whatever that wage is, but if he's living at home and now we have pooled resources, it is a good thing. This whole thing of, you get adult, you get your own house, whatever. Remember, that in many ways helps to feed the system that needs to be broken. Again, it's not either or, but we're kind of like, you're a loser if you stay with your parents. And I don't think that is losing. I think actually it's winning. And when we pick on them for that, we're actually, to me, we're speaking from our programming. And that programming was given to us by the controllers who wanted to maximize their profits by getting us isolated. It's more bills, less communication, more isolation. Trust me, it's all part of the plan. And so just catch yourselves on this one. Stop picking on people living in mom's basement. All right, I'm going to close that there. This is a half an hour one. So I hope this made some sense. Alex, I really hope somebody gets this to you. I think I made some valid points. And again, I love you, brother. I think you're doing a great job. So, and I love all you people out there. God bless you all. And let's all stay sane and build a better world together.